Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and good morning over in Hong Kong. I'm excited to be here with you today with one of my heroes, one of my mentors, Miss Lisa Grossman, who is joining us from Hong Kong this morning. I think that's where you are, right, Lisa? Are you in Hong Kong?
I am back in Hong Kong. I spent a week in Bangkok, but it wouldn't really matter where I was. I spent a week in Skype hell, but that's all fixed now. And so excited to be back with all of you. And so excited for all that's going on in your world. Wow.
So Lisa, before we get into tonight's training, and I'm really excited about what we're going to be talking about, tell us a little bit about what it's like just to be building a business over in Hong Kong and to live kind of this dual life of, of course you have a home over there and a home here. What's that like?
And a home in Bangkok. Well, actually, Travis, it's all, all things in life are cyclical, because I was in Hong Kong 10 years ago, 2004, and actually with the first company that went around the world. When I say the first modern company, obviously we're not talking about the big boys that were in China, and all due respect to them, but younger companies that had a single comp plan, single product line, going all, one unified genealogy, you could sign people up in, around the world as easily as in your backyard type of thing. Mm-hmm. And it was a wonderful experience, because I'm very much a Star Trekker. And then came back and helped quite a few other companies do that, sort of wearing our consulting hats. And we're over here in a different capacity, because we're working on a hybrid, it's a direct selling company, a little bit different than what we would call normal, but really in the greater China market. And I'm very excited about that, because it's new. And it's the opportunity to learn more things that you can then go and share with all your friends and compadres in the industry. But working around the world is really no different than working at home, depending on how you look at it. And what I would tell people to take from this lesson, and this is very much true of me, my first 10 years in network marketing were, I call it my first phase and my second phase. And not a lot changed, except the way that I looked at it. My income took a radical shift between like the first 9 years and year 11 upward. And, there were circumstances in my life that my why got bigger, blah, blah, blah. And I think all that stuff's important, so I probably should have said blah, blah, blah. But what a lot of people came and asked me was, what really changed? Because I certainly didn't wake up one morning and say, gee, I'm 5 times better than I was a month ago, so my income went up 5-fold. And I really can't tell you that I learned a lot of new skills. You're always improving your skills, but I can't tell you that at year 11 I suddenly had breakthroughs or aha moments in terms of skill sets or what we do on a daily basis that would have changed. Was the way that I looked at things. And that started with question, because I was doing really well domestically. And I never really thought about being international, because I had, I don't speak these languages, and I don't like to airplane. Who would you talk to if you got on the airplane? Questions that people wouldn't ask today, because it's 10 years later, but not a lot of people were doing it. But a few were, and it was catapulting their businesses to much higher level, to much more leadership, higher incomes. And finally I looked and said, well, what do they know that I don't know? Well, not very much, I'm sure. By the time you're 10 years in, you understand three-way calls and meetings and building for events and rate advancements and all the things that drive the business. And I think I'm pretty good at the business of network marketing. And well, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And to my surprise, maybe one of them spoke another language, but they were in 8, 9 countries, and not one of the people I knew spoke all of those languages. And I suddenly realized they just saw themselves having a global business. And once they saw that, their questions changed, and they realized people are the same everywhere. They have the same hopes and dreams, and yes, there are different cultural differences, but what unites us as human beings is always greater than what divides us by where we live or what language we speak. And they started treating another country the way that sometimes when people get started out, they're afraid of another city. If you go back to when you first start, you should build local to go global, but then you get so local, and it's like, well, how do people, live in Phoenix and have a business in Las Vegas? And then you think, well, they must drive back and forth a lot. Well, initially, but if you can build at home, you can build in the town next door. And if you can build in the town next door, you can build in the state next door. And if you can build in the state next door, you can build in the state at the other end of the country. And if you can do that, you can build in the country next door. And if you can build in another country that's next door, you can build overseas, especially today, because of what technology allows us to do. Look at what we're doing right now. I'm in Hong Kong. I could be in Dallas, because as long as I'm not sitting next to you in your living room or anybody else's living room who's watching this broadcast, it really doesn't matter where I am. It matters that they have the ability to tune into it. Add to that, now if you look at a virtual neighborhood, thanks to things like Facebook, although there are countries that they're not as popular in, and Twitter and all these other mechanisms, and all the things that are virtually free or no cost today that weren't there 10 years ago, you have a giant neighborhood. Everybody's in your neighborhood. And you have the ability people to gather together who think alike, or to look for people that think like you and see what you see. And so being overseas is incredible in this regard. I'm here because right now there are things on the ground here that require my presence, but it doesn't interfere with my ability to do anything else around the world any more than if you have to go to help a group in, let's say, Southern California, because they're just getting started out and you have to drive and build that group to get it solid. You can get on your conference calls, your three-way calls, your hangouts from any business to do whatever you have to do anywhere else in the country. So if you expand your vision a little bit and you ask questions like, what do I do when I don't speak, Japanese? And there's this big Japanese group. Well, there are two people on this hangout. It would be relatively easy to have a third who spoke Japanese, if you needed that mechanism to communicate, and we do that all the time. So I think what's best about being on this side of the world is you are able to continue to practice the high-touch aspects of the business, which are so necessary. Because as human beings, the more that we have the ability to make contact and come together in environments like this, the more that direct contact eventually becomes necessary. But you're able to chase the business, I call it, using technology and solidify it by personal appearance. And wherever you are needed at any particular moment, if your vision is big enough and if it's something that you can see yourself doing, you can be there, and then you can support and drive everything everywhere else. So I wouldn't advocate that everybody come live in Hong Kong. Both times that I have done it, it has been necessary to be based out of here. But take the lesson that you don't go around the world or go spend a lot of money to necessarily create a business, but once you have one going, it's always a good time, if you can, to get on the ground so you can meet people, be with people, and people can meet you. The culture's fabulous. The people are wonderful. I love the United States, of course. It's my home, and I think we're the greatest country on earth. But people in the United States, many of them are very comfortable. And when you come to the other side of the world, their work ethic is a little bit more of what you might have seen maybe in my in a generation ago. People are moving at a pace that back there, I think most of the leaders everywhere in the world move at that pace. It's not part-time, it's not full-time, it's all the time integrated with your life, always, chasing the vision that you see, going faster, not because you need to make more money, but because you want to impact more people, create more enthusiasm, create more excitement within your teams. Mm-hmm. So that is true of leaders everywhere. But when you come over here, you find that the populations at large tend to match your work ethic. You don't look crazy, and people aren't telling you you're a workaholic. You look normal. And people get that although you're involved with your business all of the time, it is not your whole life. You just have a more integrated lifestyle so that you're always in your personal life and your business life spending time with people that you want to be with, because that becomes your friends, your workmate, and it's really quite wonderful. And that was probably a very long answer to a short question, and I apologize.
No, it was a great answer. And the thought that was coming to mind there at the end when you were saying is their work ethic. And when we travel internationally, one thing that comes to mind that Eric always says, Eric Worre, is entrepreneurs don't sleep, they take naps. And I think that you would probably agree with that over in the other parts of the world.
Yeah, the one that I was brought up with was very similar. It was, sleep is for customers and the week between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So that was kind of what I was taught.
That's what I love.
But it's kind of funny because we've all had days and moments and careers and things we've done in our life where it became a chore. And I love this business, and I have days that are like a chore. And what I have learned is that when you're really in love with something, you go to bed thinking about it, you get up thinking about it, and you can't sleep. But even the love of your life, there are days where they aren't as good as other days. And that's okay. And that's what people have to learn to accept. Every day is not a sunny day in May. So you practice your daily method of operation every day because it's the habits you establish to make your business work. But you don't have to be madly in love with how it's going every day. It doesn't always have to be fantastic. It isn't always fantastic. But the vision and the picture that you're looking at, that always has to be fantastic. And if it is, it's easy to have that work ethic because it doesn't feel like work.
Well, I think that's a good, segue into what we're going to be talking about tonight, which is, your daily method of operation. And, I love what Curtis always says. First of all, he says, marry the process and divorce the results. And you're talking about, keeping your eye on the prize. And see, I am listening every now and then when you guys are talking, right? Marry the process. Always listening. You're
and and I'll give you an example of that, and just to tell you what I see in this group. And you're not the only group that I work with and see this, but you're certainly the most consistent and obviously getting the best results because of that. Hot market is it's a strategy at the beginning of a long process to get people into immediate profit, to get people feeling comfortable, to get people a story, to get people going. And there's, it's just a piece of the puzzle. And people that deploy it and use it tend to have great results within their teams because it's not what you can do, it's what you can duplicate. It's what everybody can do. And then there are other people that make it into such a complicated process that they think that somehow that's the business. When the hot market, if it's deployed properly, the hot market endeavor at its minimum, the minimum necessary to succeed, could take a slow person a day and a half if they really deploy, and a person who just wants to get it done so they can move to step 2, step 3, step 4, 2 hours. I've seen people do it in 30 minutes. And I always laugh because they spend all this time complicating it up and asking 10 million questions, and I sit there with a stopwatch and I'm like, boy, we could have done this already. We could have taught, your dog could have done this already. We could have shown 2 people on your team how to do this already. Why make it so difficult? And that's really why I think your guys are flying, because it is methodical. And, and you want to say, you're going to do step 1, but they're not going to tell you what step 2 is. No, I don't do that with people. You don't do that with people. People have to understand the reasons. They have to have clarity as to why. I mean, think back to when you were a kid. Because I said so, which your parents would say a lot to you, wasn't the thing that actually motivated you to want to do something. But if they laid it out for you so you just understood why you were doing it, that was great. But on the flip side, they didn't tell you at 5 years old, and when you do this today, then we're going to do this, and 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 lo and behold, after you complete that step, here we are getting ready for college. They don't detail the next 18 years to you. So you're finding the happy medium. And when I talk to people on this team, I just see a lot of clarity, which is why it moves fast.
Well, one of the things that we're focused on this month, by the way, we had a record-breaking month last month all the way around. I mean, of course, at the company level.
I heard that. I saw that on Facebook. I've actually talked to a few people that broke some ranks. Yeah. But, record-breaking months, exactly how many months have not been record-breaking?
That's a good point. We've been doing that every single month after month. We continue to grow. Yeah,
you forget that. You're so excited, yeah.
Of course, we had Rob Moffett went diamond, which was a big deal. Jason White went emerald, and we had, I think, over 25.
Rob and Tiffany.
Rob and Tiffany, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I would have gotten in trouble for that, so thank you for that.
I know. I'm saving you.
Because you did save me. Rob and Tiffany went diamond.
You wouldn't have had to leave home. Summer would have gotten you for that one.
I would have been so in trouble. So Rob and Tiffany went diamond, Jason White went emerald. We had about 25 other new rank advancements last month. And so the key this month is we want to keep that momentum going. And I really want to get your opinion on why these rank advancements are so important in our business. What do they do for our business? What are the key steps for me to really get to that next rank? If I'm making a commitment this month that I want to be on that list of recognition next month, what are the things that I need to be thinking about, and how does it play into my overall success as a network marketing professional?
Okay, now, guys, I might bore you a little bit here because I'm actually going to talk about the business and why this works from a business standpoint, because you're all leaders. If you're here, you're a leader, and you're taking time out of your day, and I don't know that I would be teaching this at a getting started orientation, but here's the beauty of a good ranking advancement system when it's designed well and it works well. Compensation plans drive behavior. Well, compensation drives behavior. Forget a compensation plan or network marketing. Travis, I'm going to hire you to mow the grass, and I'm going to pay you $1. And it's 110 degrees outside in Phoenix, Arizona. And I don't care if you are 14 years old, and you did great on your paper route. Not that motivating. Travis, I'm going to hire you to mow the grass, and I have a riding lawnmower, and I'm going to pay you $30 to do it. I'm going to get two different attitudes, two different results from the very same person based on those two different scenarios. So there's no question that compensation drives behavior. But the great thing about network marketing, the thing that makes network marketing so phenomenal, is it's open to everybody at whatever level they're at, and they can learn while they earn. And this is not bringing somebody in to study a detailed compensation package, having to understand it, because that would slow business down. And the cool thing about compensation plans is if people work to strive the different ranks, they never really have to understand the plan to the degree that people want to understand the plan, they think. Certainly you have to know, this is how much I get paid for doing this, because again, that's that clarity that helps drive motivation. But most people keep asking, how does the plan work? How does the plan work? How does the plan work? They don't want the MIT version of a comp plan, and if they had it, how is it going to help them? What they want to know is what they have to do. And when you follow a good plan, it forces the development of leadership. It creates a structure within your business that will optimize the pay plan for you. And usually going from rank to rank is fairly simple. If you look at the top rank in any company and you understand the bottom rank, or the first two at the bottom, you will understand how to get to the top, because it's always some combination thereof of rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Do it again. Find a new person, teach them how to do it, teach them how to find a person and do it again. And this will drive you up the ranks. So achieving ranks is important because, A, it brings it back to that belief. For every person, we always talk about money, that everything is driven by money, and it is. It has to be profitable. But for most people, it really isn't. It's driven by the knowledge and the belief that they are progressing, by the knowledge and belief that it works and it can work for them. And all of these complex issues that will slow people down and interfere with their belief, stop them from proceeding forward, all are solved when people just build to the plan. If you build to the plan, it takes care of itself. If you are advancing, it means that other people are advancing and your business is working. And the coolest thing about it is, when people just look at, I want to make $5 gazillion, they see themselves like going and getting 8,000 people. When they build to the plan, they understand that you talk to a lot of people. Quite a few of those are going to enter your arena in some way, perhaps as a customer, perhaps part-time, whatever suits their boat, it's their business. But some people are going to get what you get, a few. And if you look at the comp plan, to get to the top requires a lot of people being happy within your environment, doing what they're going to do, creating volume. But it only requires a few people along the way, and for other people to find a few people along the way that really see what you see and will follow in your path, and that will push you up and drive them up as well and continue to grow the business outward. So that when you get to die, you don't have to worry about how many people, in the beginning it's how many people does it take to build the basic structure. But it's not how many people do I need to get to diamond, it's how many people are when you get to diamond, how many people are in my group. Because what you do is you break it down backward, is you figure out what does diamond look like, what does emerald look like, what does this position look like, meaning, draw it out, the structure, the minimum structure it takes to get there by other ranks. I need one of these and one of these and one of those, this one has to be here, and one of those or one of those, whatever it is, because then you're looking for those that see what you see, who will fill out the blanks. You never know who the people are, but you know what people you're looking for. And then as they begin to identify themselves, your business falls into line. One of the things that Holden Bugs taught me, and it's so true, network marketing is very predictable. If you know what you're looking for, if you're driven by rank, month end, and that's what drives people, the goal they're shooting for at any particular moment, and an understanding of where that can take them. If you know what it takes to get there, it's not a numbers game, but people are not numbers, but it is a numbers game. And you know what it looks like and what it takes to get there. And then you can ask the next question and the next question, the next question. Well, okay, how many people do I have to talk to get somebody on my products? How many of those people will ultimately decide to join my business? How many people do I have to talk to get one of the people that joins my business to be serious about my business? How many people do I have to talk to get somebody that gets on the diamond track? How many? So now, and then it's all math. You know the math, and you figure it out over time. So then if I do this and this and this and this and this and this, this is the likely and predictable result. So people are never surprised and they're never disappointed. And all of this can be taught and transferred to other people pretty simply that are brand new, without going and getting a degree from MIT, without understanding all kinds of math, without having to understand the nuances of every BB on every product. Every rank is broken down in such a way that a person can immediately look at it and say, okay, here's my skills, here's what I know how to do, three-way calls, meetings, here's all the tools in my tool belt. Here's what I'm trying to build. I know I can get that done. And then when they want to go to the next rank, here's all the tools in my tool belt. Here are all the people that are ready to go today that I should be focusing 80% of my attention on. Here's what they say they want. Here's what's going to take to get there because I just did it. Here's what we have to do together to help them achieve where they want to go. Because you need a lot of people to be successful in your business, but driving from rank to rank requires knowing who in your business to focus on. And you need to spend 80% of your time, 90% actually, in my opinion, with those people individually and work with everybody else in group. And create an experience that is wonderful for everybody, no matter where they are or where they choose to be, because it is their business. So if somebody's not on the diamond track because they just like coming to the meetings, hanging out, and that's where they're at right now, celebrate it. Get excited about it, because that's where they should be. It takes everybody. And don't try to push them into that circle because you need somebody who needs to become X this month to become X, because that isn't going to work out for you. Have a plan, get to the top, identify where your time should be spent, simplify the comp plan, because people have to understand very few points about it in a general sense to be able to advance in it, within it, when they have a rank system to drive to. I can't strive enough. Plus, it's the story. This business is driven by stories. Your story that you create and the stories of other people that you share because you're working with them every day, because it's all about not convincing people that it works. Although many people think that's the job, we all know that it works, no matter how many people say that it doesn't. What it's about is helping people to see a world in which it works for them. And the simpler that your business is, the more stories that you can share, the easier you make it for them to believe that it's something they can do, i.e., hi mom, this is Lisa, I just got involved in a business, can you help me out? Try and buy my product, use it for a month. Who can't see themselves doing that? Well, what's it take to get to this rank? 3 people who do this that you just did. With all the people that you know, if we make a list of everybody and do you think if you talk to all of them, do you think it's unreasonable to think that 3 are going to see what you see? Well, no. Good. Our job isn't to go try to talk everybody into it. It's to go see where everybody's at so we can find the 3. So that's why it's so important. Nothing is more important than people knowing what they are working for. Nothing is more important than what they see, because we don't get what we want. We get what we believe and we get what we picture. And if the picture is cloudy, then people can't make they can't make it happen, manifest in reality, because they can't articulate what it looks like to themselves or others. If they believe they are able, they can do it. If they really see themselves doing it, they will in fact do it, provided they understand what it is they have to do. And the road to the top is a one-sheet piece of paper that tells you where all the bus stops are, you know, all the rest stops, all the places you want to go. It's like taking a trip to Florida. We're going to stop here. We're going to stop here. We're going to stop at Bronze, and we're going to stop at Star 500, and we're going to stop at Ruby, and we're going to stop at Emerald, and we're going to celebrate it, and then we're going to celebrate all the people that got us there, because there are people that are ahead of us on the road. Thank goodness, because we don't have to be pioneers. The road's been plowed. We don't have to figure out what to do. There are those who've done it. They can show us. There are those behind us. And all you do is follow that map straight to the top and make sure that other people know how to read the map the way, with simplicity, the way that people showed you. Does that help?
It's awesome. I love it. You know, there are so many gems in what you just said. Summer and I call this road mapping our way to success. At the beginning of every month, we take out our whiteboard. We start with our hot list. Who are the people that we're going to be investing all of our time in? Who are our runners, right? Who are the people that are ultimately running? And we account for, if they say they're going to be running to Ruby, then we can account for that particular volume, and that comes into our overall plan. And so, you know, I love that you're not just leaving this to chance, that there's an actual science, there's an actual roadmap. You know, you wouldn't wake up in the morning and grab your keys and just start driving without knowing where you're headed. That's how many of us build our businesses. We don't know really where we're going, what it takes to get there, and then backing our way up. And everything that you just said, I mean, was golden. I want to ask you one other question, which is how important is launching people successfully in my overall plan to be able to get to the next ranks? Because one of the observations that I have is that people tend to bring people into the business, but they really don't hold them accountable, provide that true mentorship to get them to that first real victory. Of course, in our compensation plan or within our system, it's getting them to get their initial investment back with our hot market system. How important is it for me to launch somebody successfully in our business?
Well, I will tell you, it is everything, but I want to put a caveat to that. It is important. Everything is about getting started right. Now, for those of you who feel you got started wrong, or I wish I'd known this, I wish I'd known that, welcome to the human condition of getting better every day, but let me share this with you. I always say the first 90 days of when anybody's business are the most important. And when we break that down, then it becomes the first 30, and then it's the first 7 days, the first 36 hours. But working it outward, again, it's these 90 days. But guys, it's the first 90 days you get serious. So I've had people that have signed up for whatever reason, and they got serious a year later. That's the 90-day story. What happens after the 90 days after you get serious? And there is nothing wrong with a story that says, you know, I signed up, I didn't follow the system, my head was in another space, I saw something there enough to make me excited about it, but timing was off. But let me tell you what happened after I got serious. Don't take as long as I did. Be smarter than I was. You know, Holton always says he wishes you know, if he had to do all over again, he'd think bigger, faster. And I think back to that long, drawn-out answer I gave about working internationally in the beginning, and I realized that that was it. If I, you know, I wasn't thinking big enough, because what I was doing wasn't any different. If I can talk to 10 people and 2 people say yes to something, odds are maybe when I talk to 100, it won't be exactly 20, but it's going to be more than 2. And I'll get better. So I don't care how many people I had to talk to get to 4. 4 is always better than 2. And the more people that you talk to get there, the better you are for the next 100. And I don't know that necessarily you talk to as many people, but where you can shorten how many people you talk to. So here's the thing about launching. It's so important to launch a business correctly, but if people are not willing to meet you halfway, and they're not willing to work to follow the system, that's not on you. But if you don't work with them to manage their expectations, answer the right questions, and lay out the plan, especially, forget the plan for the first 90 days. Work the plan for the first 7. You'll greatly improve your results if you can just get people the successes we talk about, you know, with hot market and getting people to sit and listen to them, or get in front of the information, I should say. whether the people say yes or no. Give me a person after a week who the only money they've made is getting their own money back because they got the product out with their family, which will result in some product users, 3 weeks from now, but we're at the 7th day, and who's gotten 10 people to at least go through some part of the process, to watch Rise of the Entrepreneur, to use the product, to get on a 3-way or a conference call. That's all they've done. So they haven't set the world on fire. They haven't made $7 million, blah, 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 blah. Give me that person against where they were when they started, and they're more excited. They're seeing something can happen. Give me a person on day 7 who was signed up with all these, oh my God, I found the thing, and the thing is going to make me rich, and I'm going to get 2 people, and they're going to do all the work, and I'm going to get rich, and all these false expectations that you may not have been involved in them having, but also may not have been involved in dissipating and correcting. Give me that person after 7 days when they're still sitting with their product, and the phone isn't ringing with people through osmosis saying, hey, I want to join you, because they had some crazy expectation, and they're sorry they did it. They're already believing it doesn't work, and they're a week in, and they're not even in, actually. They're signed up. So, and don't confuse making a sale, which a lot of people do. Somebody signs up, whatever they say, whatever they had to be said or done, or however they got there, they bought the package, and I got one. We're not in the sales business. You will make some money on that, not enough. If that's what you want to do, is just go sell stuff, go find something for $5 you can sell on eBay for $25. The margins are much better. We're in the business of enrolling people. So when they sign up, that's where it starts. If they've gotten their package, all they've done is gotten one, certainly the most important, but one of the tools that is necessary to go build the business that they've just said they want to start. So it's starting point. I'm going to build a business. What do I need? I need product. I need a list of names. I need this. I need this. They should have known that. I need to do this in my first 7 days. Let's go start. Signing up isn't starting. That's making a purchase. And the reason I say that is when the person signed up, where was their headspace? Were they already looking at what they were going to do? Because I've found that the most successful people, signing up is just a part of the story. Well, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to get you signed up. We're going to get your product, and then we're going to do this. So from the minute that you're talking to them, it doesn't stop like there's some ending to the story because they got in. That's a piece of the process. You want to go build a business, you obviously have to be signed up, so let's do that. Obviously, it's a product. Let's get that. Now we can actually start. So that's all pregame. Doesn't count. And if you leave them in pregame, by the end of a week, they think the game isn't one worth playing. So you got to get them in the game. And you do that by asking questions and managing their expectations. Most people who quit because their expectations were mismanaged. And it's easy to set people's expectations right through conversation. Because if I'm sitting with somebody, I just like to do it before the fact, then after the fact, get the elephant in the room out. I would look at somebody and say, so let me get this straight. This is how much money you make full-time in your full-time career. And that took you 4 years of college or 3 years of practice, and you think that you can sign up in something, work even serious part-time, and then in 3 months you're going to be rich. This is a business like all things. Name me one career. And yes, there are anomalies. There are people that manage to do it. But those are the inspiration. We put those people on stage because they're the epitome of what is possible. But don't fool yourself. That's a crazy lifestyle. You have to be belief on steroids like we are. You have to know in your heart that you are changing the world. And that story and that picture you're chasing is much bigger than you're going to have more money and get a bigger house. Because it is insane service to others. It is sometimes 18 hours a day and smiling. And there is no rule or law or even expectation that should be what everybody wants. And that's okay. Everybody needs to choose what they want, but they need to have an understanding of this is how I want to live my life, and this is what I want to achieve in this business, and they have to be something that mixes. I don't care when somebody signs up if they want to make $10 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $50,000 a month. Their business. I do care, however, that they understand that a $10 effort is not going to yield a $10,000 check. I do care that they understand that, you know, the time commitment they're going to get on an individual basis is going to be dictated, A, by with vision and the goals that they are being driven by, and also by their commitment to show up. You know, if you've seen my partner, and he's the best of the best, and now you're stuck with me this week, but one of the things that he teaches, you know, and Curtis talks more than I do, and if that's possible, and that's saying something, but he always reduced building a business to a 7-word formula that I think is the easiest way to understand what you should be doing with any individual person. And he always starts people off and starts his trainings off by teaching that. And I'm assuming he's gone over it here, Trav, but I'm going to go over it one more time. For those of you that are new or not aware of this or not thinking about it because we heard about it 6 months ago, write down the following 7 words. Grab a pen wherever you're at right now. If you're watching this live, let me know that you've done it on the Q&A. And if you're watching this on repeat, make sure that you do it because it's going to help you. Write down, I will help you build your business. It's 7 words. I will help you build your business. Now, if you look at that sentence, you'll see smack dab in the middle, center stage, is the word you. And when you're working with somebody, it's all about you. It's your business. And each of us have jobs when we get started out. Your job starts with everything that follows the word you. Your sentence starts with you. You will build your business. It's your business and you will build it. And here's, you know, and you have certain roles and responsibilities and they change. You can be the greatest baseball player in the entire world. I was told once that Rodriguez can play 8 positions. I am willing to bet not once in life could he pitch and catch at the same time. So you have a job, the other person has a job. So you will build your business. Now, my job is everything that precedes the word you. You are the last part of my sentence. I will help you. You will build your business. You build your business. I will help you. If you're not building your business, there's nothing for me to do. Right? And if everybody so what does building your business involve? You do this, then I do this. You do this, then I do this. You do this, then I do this. And it becomes very predictable again. No arguments, no challenges. If it's not somebody's timing, that's okay. If they tell me, you know, they didn't get it done, that's okay. Maybe something came up. The second time they tell me they didn't get it, that's okay. Look, I understand. We have great meetings. We have great this. We have great that. Plug into all of that. Be at all the events. Keep them on your trip, you know, your list of making sure they're part of the group. But the team is those that are doing what is necessary to grow the business and enhance and empower the group. And don't confuse the group, which is the big everybody, with the team. Teams are always small. And what you're doing is you're spending your time, 80% of it, working with your teammates for the greater good of the entire group. And who's the team? You build your business. And those that are doing that, you are helping. Those that are not, the timing isn't right or aren't there yet, you're working within group. So if you keep everything to the simplest, you know, I can't remember who said this, Travis, but it's one of my favorite quotes to the point that I'm going to go look it up, or you could look it up. But the quote was, reaching the best possible plan of perfection is not when there's nothing left to add. It's when there's nothing left to remove. So we want to get everything down to the simplest, effective way that gets the result. You don't want to, you want to put everything into your daily method of operation that is necessary to make it work and not one thing more. Because the more you're able to remove, the more efficient something will be at operating, and the easier it will be for someone new to understand it. So all these things that we teach and we spend hours going over because we're telling stories, they're all designed to help you think differently, look at things differently, so that when you deploy them, you have clarity or you understand why they need to be deployed. But the concepts themselves are all very, very, very simple. And if it can't be reduced to very, very simple, you don't understand it well enough, or it's a bad method. It's one or the other, because it's all simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every step of the recipe, every step of the plan is something that can be done. Now, your attitude toward doing it will affect how well you do it, or if you choose to do it at all. But nothing is rocket science, because if it was, we wouldn't be able to have something that is available to anyone to change their life. It would only be available to those that had studied rocket science, and thank goodness people do, because we need that technology. But that isn't this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Grossman. Lisa, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. And by the way, I know that we're going to be seeing each other here next month.
Yes, at the ANMP, I'm excited. You're
For those,
speaking, I'm speaking. Curtis, me Old Home Week, and I hope you're all coming.
yes, I was just going to say, for those of you that have never had a chance to see Lisa live, I highly recommend you come see Lisa and a lot of other fabulous speakers that are going to be there. Over 50 mentors are going to be speaking at the ANMP. If you've never been there before, it's in Texas. I don't have the dates right now, but you can go to, I believe, anmp.com. I know it's sometime mid-May. Summer and I are definitely looking forward to being there and seeing you as well, Lisa.
Well, I can't wait. And obviously, I think Travis and Summer are among the best of the best, but you won't be seeing them for the first time. But you will be seeing them in an environment that I think is so important. There are very few events where we all have the opportunity to go hear from all of the best of the best. You know, the fact that I'm included on that list just shows that somewhere along the lines, you know, somebody liked me, because I go to hear the rest of them. But I will tell you that what's the most enlightening for me about these few events where we take the company colors off and we all go come together as the greater community to change the world is, as you listen to all the people who have reached these levels of success, you realize everybody's kind of saying the same thing. Their stories are different. Their way that they may do it a little bit differently as far as the exact method of operation, but they're all saying the same thing, and there's a reason for that. Success leaves clues, and when you get to the point that you start to realize, wait, I got all these people telling me all this nonsense, but all the people that are really achieving where I want to go, all the people that are at the top, all the people that have huge groups or have made these large incomes or have these businesses that are becoming legacy businesses, they're all saying the same thing. Hey, they're all saying the same stuff that Travis has been telling me. They're all saying the stuff that Rob has been telling me. They're all saying the stuff that Jason's been telling me. When you see that, even if you hear it, even if you intellectually know it to be true, when you sit there and you watch 30, 40 top performers get up and say, you know, my name is so-and-so, and I'm a 7-figure earner to high 6-figure earner, and I'm with whatever the company may be. But you realize that what they're saying absolutely applies to you no matter what company you're in. Then you start to really, then it becomes easy to shut down all the distractions, because you understand that if these people aren't saying it, given where they've gotten to time and time again, year after year, it's not that they're saying that doesn't work because they're being hard-headed. They're saying that doesn't work because they already had that experience along the way. And sometimes people have to learn for themselves. But if you're smart, you can learn from the experiences of others and model what they do. That's the real secret of why network marketing works. Travis said in the beginning, you know, people just know what they're doing and methodical. If you're the first one in a company that has or the first one, I guess, the first person that ever figured out how to use a three-way call in network marketing, there's no doubt they had to figure it out and made a lot of mistakes and probably went through a lot, and I'm glad they did that. And if you have the opportunity to come across something that's as effective as three-way calling, or you think it might be, test it out and let us know. But now today, none of us question three-way calls because whoever figured that out a really, really, really long time ago. So follow the system. Don't change anything or even modify anything till you're consistently making about $10,000 a month, because you'll find two things when you get there. One, there's nothing really left that you want to change because it works. And the second is you'll have such an understanding through the doing and the experience of practice that you'll no longer be thinking people are telling you what to do. You'll think it's all your idea and you figured it out on your own anyway.
Yeah, true.
Lisa, Summer and I both want to just say thank you. Since you've come into our lives, we've grown in so many different ways, and we're blessed to have you as
likewise.
mentor.
I mean, I get so much more than I get from you guys, and I miss you. All of you.
And we want to say thank you to the team tonight for plugging in. Lisa, I know that your time is valuable and you've got a busy day ahead of you, so we're going to let you go. And Legacy Nation, we appreciate you. Let's keep up the great work. Let's everybody focus on what we talked about tonight, getting yourself to the next rank. And if you need some help putting a plan in place, Summer and I are here to help you. You guys have an outstanding evening. Lisa, we'll see you soon.
Miss you, Lisa.
Oh,
Long before I was at his violin concert, so or her cello concert actually. So.
Stuff like that.